This is your friendly spoiler alert from Marvel and Makeup. MCU spoilers ahead.
Welcome to Marvel and Makeup. I'm Quincy.
And I'm Kay, and this is the podcast where we teach each other a little bit about Marvel and a little bit about makeup.
Spoiler alert. There are spoilers.
Yes, there are spoilers ahead, so we're alerting you now. And today we have a guest who is an actress, improviser, and stand-up comedian. You can see her work in the film Sea of Trees and in Zoom comedy rooms across the internet. She also wrote and starred in a great woman show called My Own River Phoenix. She won the best female performance at Crazy Woke Asian Solo Fest, and she stars in a web series written by our own host, Quincy, called The Mama Cho Show.
Yay! And she performs. Woo, woo, woo. She kills it, guys. You really need to watch it. Instagram / The Mama Cho Show. And she performs improv with Kay and I with our team Number One Son. We're so excited to have her as our guest. Please welcome Ai Yoshihara. Yay, yay, yay.
Yay! How's it going? Thank you for a great intro. I miss you guys.
Yeah.
I miss you too.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Today, we are talking about Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yes.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. So much to
Wait,
cover.
oh sorry. The first Avenger? He's the first Avenger?
He's the first Avenger because unlike the other movies that we saw, they did not take, what was in the present day at the time, because, we go back to World War II. So he was kind of the first Avenger to be made, in a sense, when you think about it.
I see. Okay,
Yeah. And quick sidebar. What's your experience with Marvel? Have you watched a lot of the movies? Are you a comic book fan?
I'm okay. I mean, I'm not crazy about it, but I'm not and I watched several movies. I watched Wonder Woman, and I just thought
that's a DC movie, so that's a different.
She just lumped all the superhero movies together.
I saw Superman. I saw.
Isn't that DC?
That's also DC.
That's
Superman
also
is
DC.
also DC.
Okay. What else I watched?
Iron Man. Yes, Hulk. Iron Man.
Yes. I saw Iron Man, and I think it's 1, 2,
and 3. He's done 3 Iron Mans. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
it looks like I is on Team Quincy when it comes to Marvel knowledge, which is not much.
She's on the Quincy side of the Marvel makeup spectrum. Well, you watched Captain America, the First Avenger, which is actually the 5th movie in the phase 1 of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Those terms probably are going over your head, but that's totally fine. This movie originally came out. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I have a question. So that the first Avenger came out before Wonder Woman, right?
I don't know if it came out before Wonder Woman. Actually, I'm pretty sure it came out before the first Wonder Woman. But all the movies that we talk about on this podcast are Marvel movies.
No. My thing is because I think it's the Wonder Woman ripped off the story.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, they're related. Truly,
it's the newest one, and the newest one, or the last 2 new one. I thought because when I saw the Captain America, the first Avenger, I was like, damn, this is a male version of Wonder Woman. I mean, and Wonder Woman ripped up the story.
I mean, they're pretty much the same thing of just like this very like nationalist type, just powerful person hero who just go off and is fighting like the enemies of a world war. So it is very similar. Yeah I mean, and a lot of these comics were like inspired by like World War II and like the world wars, so that's why they were set kind of around that time. So yeah,
And-
they are very similar. They are very similar.
I mean, timing wise, Captain America came out, first appeared in March 1941, and then Wonder Woman came out in October of 1941. I just looked it up. And so,
Ooh.
I mean, if we're like really trying to look for conspiracy theories, it looks like Ai's theory might be supported.
You're right, Ai. You're
Thank
right.
you.
But this movie, Captain America: First Avenger, came out in July 19th of 2011. A reminder of some things that happened that year. The last Harry Potter movie dropped that year, as well as Bridesmaids came out that year. That was also the year that Charlie Sheen kind of had his whole thing where he was like talking about winning and Tiger Blood and all of that stuff.
Didn't he have Tiger Blood? Yeah.
He had a bunch of interviews where he's just saying a lot of wild things. And then ended up leaving the show that he was on, the 2.5 Men show. And then another couple the highlights of that year, James Franco and Anne Hathaway hosted the Oscars.
Oh,
that was 2011.
That was in 2011.
That long ago.
Yeah.
That again feels like it happened 3 years ago.
Other thing that happened, Melissa McCarthy won the Emmy that year. And then planking and the honey badger were also very popular things in the culture. Did you guys plank? I'd never planked. That was that thing where people would like lay flat on stuff.
Yes.
Did you guys ever
I
do
went
that?
on a road trip. And we went to Monterey. We took the PCH up. Me and my girlfriend went up the PCH to see the like seals out there on the bay. And that year, I don't know, I guess maybe the time they were like much further off coast than we had anticipated. And there was like a fence. So I have a picture of her planking on a wooden fence.
Okay.
And that was also the same trip where I learned, I don't know if it was that year, where I learned
she was like
to take
on
a
the
selfie.
fencing, like...
That's the first time I had heard what a selfie was.
Oh, wow.
I remember that road trip was where I took my first selfie. Isn't that weird, guys? Selfies have been less than 10 years. They're turning 10 this year.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I never planked. I was just like, I'm good. I don't need to lay down on surfaces. I'll lay down on my bed,
Selfie turn make people narcissist.
Yeah.
True. It's the beginning of the whole new level of narcissism. Yep. So those are some things that happened in 2011, just to jog your memory about where we are in the culture. But then, Captain America, the first Avenger, it's actually set way before that. It's set during World War II. What was your like off the top impression about, Captain America? You have that opening scene where they find him in the ice and then we go back to the actual war. One of the things I thought off the top was like, you remember when, Nazis were like a universal villain and everyone kind of agreed on that? I was like, good old times. Not like these modern days where people are like, oh yeah, those Nazis, they have some ideas going for them. So that yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was disappointed. The one thing was I didn't see Hitler in that movie. I was like, when Hitler was coming out, and who's gonna play Hitler? But I didn't see him. That was
Did you want Captain America to fight Hitler?
Yeah, definitely.
Actual Hitler. Yeah, that's some real world usage of Captain America in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is historically accurate, if a fictional character actually beat the real Hitler. I mean, they did have that part where like, he was playing Captain America and like selling the bonds. And then Hitler, the guy dressed as Hitler, was like sneaking up behind him and then he would punch him in the face. So that's kind of the closest you actually got.
At least background and at least I want him to show up as a background or something.
Yeah. The real.
Do you mean like also just as like a historical figure, like just to give it more historical context, or as an actual evil villain?
As I wanted him
he
to
is
show
a
up as a villain, but it's too much for the storyline. But at least I can make it the storyline more close to real and realistic. And I wish if the Hitler shows up a little bit, at least a little bit, and could be more like, you know,
like had a phone call with the Red Skull and be like, hey, where's your science at type thing.
Yeah.
I think it touches upon something that I felt in watching this film was like, they did such a good job making it very real, like setting it in the 40s. Like you knew this was a real, you know, it was a real time, right? Based in history that we are all familiar with. And then I thought when the lasers started coming, the blue, by the way, is the blue cube the same from Thor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The one at the end. Where they're just like, we found this.
Yes.
It's that one.
Which is funny because in Thor, that blue cube looks so huge. And in this movie, it was like tiny.
Yeah, well,
or did I just remember it wrong?
Or his hand was small.
Yeah.
He had tiny hands.
Well, there is confusion because that what you're talking about in Thor is like he had kind of like there's like that bigger blue one that he used like to freeze stuff. We're talking about a different movie now, and then at the very end there was the cube that Fury was like, here's this. So those are two different things, two different. I see.
Things. Oh, I thought they were the same thing. Oh,
no,
they're two different blue.
The idea is like, you know, in this movie, the cube is the one that, you know, he pulls out of the thing at the end and then it sinks to the bottom of the sea.
I see.
Yeah. And then they find it. Howard Stark finds it later when they're like deep sea diving.
Yes. Oh, I think that's very confusing maybe because I saw Thor so I'm just like, oh, this is like the baby version of what Thor's people have.
Yeah. That is confusing because they're both blue.
Yeah. But just to say, I just wanted more of like to understand, like, is it history? So if it's so based in history, can we have like a cool historical explanation of why these blue lasers are here? Because then it felt like at one point I felt like I was watching Star Wars a little bit or like RoboCop too, because I just wanted it to make a little bit more visual sense. So I agree with I in terms of like wanting to understand the world they were building a little bit more.
I see.
And also I have a problem with that last ending. I don't know. I don't want to jump to the ending, but that, oh my God, Captain America, he didn't really do anything. It's just the red guy. He just grabbed the cubic blue thing and then he committed suicide basically, and then like I was like, Captain America is standing there watching and like, what the hell? What are you doing? And
true.
It was an easy fight. It was just too easy.
Yeah, it didn't climax into like an epic battle. It was more just him like sacrificing himself was like kind of the main kind of like climax, I guess. But so much more of the action was him taking down Hydra and like going into all those different, you know, labs and like blowing them up and stuff like that. And then at the end, you're just like, oh, and then he kind of just punches him a little bit and then he grabs the thing.
I agree. I agree with I too. I agree. It was very anticlimactic.
At the end.
Because I wanted him, you know, then I was like, you don't have to die. I was like, just tell them where you're pointing your airplane and like get out of there. And like you survived a bomb like 20 minutes, like a plant blew up and you survived. I'm like, you're gonna survive this. Just tell them where you're going. I mean, I don't know how planes and bombs work, but I feel like that'd probably be pretty manageable to just be like, let's move it somewhere else. Let's, you know, I think our note is, someone should have known more about the bombs and how to destroy them without having them to sacrifice himself. But, you know, speaking of someone who knows how to, you know, take care of bombs, Howard Stark is introduced as a character in this movie. He's the guy with the mustache. He's Tony Stark's dad.
Did you make that connection? Iron Man's dad.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's young in this one, but eventually he grows up and, he has Tony. So that's kind of like Tony's connection to this movie. And they also introduced a bunch of other really great supporting characters like Agent Carter, the female soldier. I really enjoyed her character. She actually went on to have like her own TV series on ABC, which I watched and loved. What did you guys think about her character?
I loved her character. I wish she did more. Like we saw the badass of who she was. She like knocks that guy out. And then for the rest of the movie, she's just in service of his story.
True.
And I will say I died laughing when she comes into the bar and she's wearing that red dress.
Why'd you laugh?
Because like as a woman, like going to a bar to see him after, like she picked that red dress and was like, I'm gonna look so good. I'm gonna look like a snack. And so when she comes in, I just died laughing because it was just such a I don't know,
like just to like talk to him too, not to
exactly. Like I'm gonna get my man, but he can't have none of this moment. That I just died laughing. There was a lot of moments when I died laughing, like even that moment with the flag, when they're like, no man has gone this in like 17 years, and he just like walks over and like puts it down and he goes boop. I was like, oh my God. I was like, are they gonna Mulan this? And then he just knocks it over and is like, here's your flag, and then gets
Well, I feel like that was like him showing how he was, his specific character, like different from all the other soldiers. I don't know about you, but when they did that moment where like Tommy Lee Jones like threw the grenade and then he wraps his body around it. Like for me, like I teared up. I was like, that's it. Like that's Captain America.
I did too. Oh my goodness.
Okay. That was
I did too. I teared up. I was like, wow, look at him, so skinny, his Benjamin Button body. Also, can we talk about his Benjamin Button body?
Yes,
like,
please,
it just
please.
Was very, I don't know. I was like, what is happening? Like,
the effects of like his head.
I mean, I know and it just was very strange.
But I think so. I was wondering how they did it. They, the CGI's like used someone who is like tiny and skinny and it put the face changed, or I don't know. I was like, how did they do that? I don't know how they did it. Impressed.
Exactly, but it definitely probably was like a thing where like they shot his face and his head somewhere else, or he was there and he was probably wearing just like green on the bottom, and then they had to have someone come in who was green on the head but had the body. And then they, combine them. There's probably a behind the scenes somewhere. But, when you think 2011, what's the, effects like? It did look a little weird because his head was, full size, even though the body wasn't. And I did. And he was very solid. And it was interesting because it like his entrance into the movie was kind of like imperceivable because he wasn't the full body yet, it wasn't until he came out of the chamber they were just like, oh, now Captain America is now arrived, he's now in this movie. But yeah, so that was and to be perfectly honest, like this is one of the movies that I that isn't one of my faves. I when I originally watched it, I was like, oh, this is really long. It felt pretty long. And also because like they had that weird detour where it's like he was selling the bonds and he wasn't really being like an actual soldier. And I was like,
I actually didn't mind that part. I thought it was an interesting turn for him who wanted and he's serving in this way. I almost wanted him to have a stronger emotional response to that. But he just, after trying so hard to get into the army, now he's buff and is like complacently being a dancing monkey, right? I was like, where did your... Yeah, I just thought that was so interesting that's where he decided to give up. I actually thought it was longer, and I didn't understand the detour when he's going after the Hydra. Because it was such a... I don't know. It was like such a slow build, and I was like, wait, why... We're fighting Red Skull? Well, what? Like, it just all of a sudden we were in this like epic... hunting down Hydra.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the weird thing too is like, even though it's set in World War II and we all know like the Nazis are the big villain, within the Nazis is the specific Hydra villain. And so they're going after that specifically. So, and I think what the problem was is like setting up Hydra in this movie becomes
Okay, can you repeat that one more time? Your internet cut out.
Oh, I'm okay. This might be a difficult episode for us to release because it keeps telling me my internet connection is unstable.
What's happening? Did you know that TWC, the internet, like broke down last week?
Oh, did it?
Yeah, like everywhere. I think Hollywood and parts of K-Town and parts of NoHo, just the internet like cut out.
Oh, so maybe it's not back up for me. I might try to just close some windows. Let's try that.
We've having internet connection problem too, but it's gotten better. But that was like a few weeks ago.
I mean, I feel like everyone's using internet nowadays. I mean, everyone's using the internet all the time now. So
yeah,
I think it needs to be a utility.
True. Free internet.
Free internet.
The thing I was saying was, setting up Hydra is in this movie. It's laying the foundation for so much more to come. Like Hydra, it kind of keeps its place as like the main villain in a bunch of Marvel movies and properties coming after, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That whole show was kind of like based off of S.H.I.E.L.D. being created to fight Hydra, and Hydra continually comes back as a villain, especially because their whole mantra is like, cut off one head, two will take its place. So it sticks around for a long time. So I feel like they had to set all of that stuff up, and then I feel like the ending felt anticlimactic because they knew that they were gonna have to keep going with it. So they couldn't just be like, and now they're not. Then now they're gone. It's like, no.
Question.
They're going to be around for a while.
Is Red Skull Thanos' dad?
No. He is not.
Kay's face, she was like, wait, wait a minute. What is she asking? And I'm like, oh, no. I don't know.
What do you think
It was interesting. I don't, well, because, okay, it was really funny because when you see Agent Schmidt, I read his Hugo Weaving plays Agent Smith in Matrix.
Yes.
So then to see him play Schmidt was like lovely. And I made a joke where I was like, I bet you like, it was just a joke. I was like, I bet you he's actually like Nick Fury. Like someone's going to rip their face off and be like, haha, I'm Nick Fury from the future and you need to be in blah, blah, blah. So then I just joked. And then halfway through the movie, Schmidt rips off his face. And I was like, I don't know if we needed that. I was like,
I don't think I did. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because he was such a great evil villain already that like, it just then I was like, oh, we're back in comic book world, and like, with how they tied it to like lore and history, I just wanted that to be justified a little bit more because up until then we didn't know. This was part of that world back in 1940.
Yeah, so after he ripped off his face, all I was thinking about the red face is like a green version of like mask. I was like,
he just actually you're right.
Red version of red. Yeah, I was like, damn, I just can't. It was just. That was unnecessary too.
You're just like Jim Carrey. Is that Jim Carrey now?
Yeah, Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Well, so did you get that? Like, So Stanley Tucci's character, which I loved, I thought he was so, funny in those kind of like small moments that he had. So his character had worked with Schmidt originally to build the serum that they were going to use to create, Steve Rogers. And what ended up happening was like they used it on him, and that's how he turned into the Red Skull. So Schmidt, is the Red Skull. It's just like, he's just covering up the Red Skullness of it all because he wanted to still look normal for people. Did you get that, or did that not land for you guys?
I mean, I think subconsciously I got that. Like he was the experiment gone wrong.
Yeah.
So that makes sense when you're like, okay, he was the experiment gone wrong. I guess then I'm like, I don't know. Then I'm like, that was a really good mask that you ripped off, and now I don't know. That must have been that's a very expensive face you ripped off. It was a very good face. I don't know.
It was a very good evil face. I don't know why.
You're just like,
I don't know. And I think, too, like that's such a fun, like, yeah, he looked evil great. Like, and I think too, that kind of move is such a fun heightening move in improv shows when you're like, I'm not who you think I am. And like, that's kind of what it felt like. I'm not your father.
Yeah. I will say his character is established like in pretty campy ways. Like the whole thing of like the Dr. Zola walking in on him when there's like classical music blaring. And then there's like the dude painting a portrait of him. I was like, this is pretty campy. We're screaming villain right now because it's like, paint me while I'm standing in the dark here and listening to.
But that's what I mean. I wish they had like leaned into that more too, because there's a moment when Captain America goes into the ship he's driving and there's a bomb with like New York on it, and that's such a like Warner Brothers, like Acme, if you watch like Bugs Bunny and stuff, like that's such a specific like set piece to that kind of like evil mustache twirling villain. And I wish that they had like leaned into satirizing that, being like, this is something we're going to do. It just kind of felt very left field for me. And I'm like, hey, if you're going to do it, let's just go for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were doing a lot of really kind of like campy stuff, even though they're trying to stay really grounded and like really set in this like very specific time. No, I get that. Yes. I get that.
Yeah. And I wish they had like leaned into the campiness just as hard as they had leaned into the realness. Because then I think we would have been like along for it. But I think the groundedness plus like the tickling of the campy felt very like jarring. Because the realness was it felt so grounded.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But it's so funny. There's so many moments that it made me so laugh hard. It was like, realistic. The situation was very realistic. But there's some moment and when he goes to save soldiers and in the base. And
the basement?
Yeah. Basement. No, I don't know the place that they blow up, but the base. Place that they kept. So the base, Captain America is just sneaking to the base, and he's so like disguised, but he's in the back. He has the thing, and
it's so bright. It's so bright.
Flag, star, 3 stars, and the blue, and the red, and the white, and the stripe.
And it's not even camouflaged.
Yeah, it's no camouflage at all. And he's a huge thing is on his back and running. And why people are not finding him?
Okay, listen, guys. I think if you watch that scene again, I was like, this is a perfect visual example of what white privilege looks like.
I have the video. Do you guys want to see it?
Yeah, you can pull it up. No, because it was just like, everyone else can see it except you, and you're running. It's like blaring. I don't know. It was very interesting. I also laughed. I don't know if you guys laughed at it. Did you guys laugh at the part when he's like abroad and doing his missions, and he like opens his pocket watch and it's a picture of the girl and the camera zooms in? I was like, they didn't have zoom back then. Like, and then he like looks into the camera and he's like, oops, and then he like closes. I
Exactly.
You know, they needed to find a way to establish that like Peggy was Captain America's girl. So that's why I decided to do it. And then she's in the theater and she like sees it and she's just like, oh my goodness, oh my God, he's thinking of me.
Yeah. And then Tommy Lee Jones like looks at her like, are you guys? He, by the way, killed it. I mean, obviously he would, but he was great.
He plays a mean badass throughout all universes, that Tommy Lee Jones. You're just like, he's so mean.
So I have a question. So he was the lady, and what's her name? She
Agent Carter is
Agent Carter
or Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter, and then the Tommy Lee Jones. Are they? Who was the higher position?
Tommy Lee Jones was higher.
No, it was, and the lady was, to me, it's very unrealistic too. She's gorgeous and she's a strong woman. That's great, but back then, women can be that position.
Yeah. I mean, and they kind of talk about it a little bit. He's just like, I took a chance on you when they told me a woman can be in your position. And also she's like British. So that's kind of like the other kind of like, I feel like loophole is just like, you know, she probably trained on the British side and now that they're allies, you know, they're working together. But yeah, in this, you know, version of the world, they're, you know, they allowed women to, if they worked really hard and they put up with all the bullshit, you know, get to those type of levels.
As we always do.
As we always do.
And I was so worried that because, you know, all the cruel things I heard, like, you know, women in maritally, and then they get, you know, raped and they get treated really badly. And I was like, wow, how did you get to be that position without not getting any, you know, harm to her? And I was like thinking like, are you okay? You know? Yeah.
I mean, women in the military, it's a whole issue. And you do wonder like what type of, I mean, that's a pretty deep thing, but it'd be interesting to find out like how much it has changed. 'Cause you wonder if some of those things, like, since it was so surface, you know, the sexism, maybe it was almost easier in a way because like they're just like outwardly being sexist versus like nowadays when people have to like cover up like, you know, how they feel, it can kind of manifest it in kind of like darker, more sinister ways.
Yeah, especially she was so hot and she's walking around so hot and surrounded by horny guys.
Right.
And I was like, how did you gone without getting any, you know?
Yeah.
So
just getting attacked.
I guess for me,
exactly.
I guess for me, that didn't bump me as much because she like, that her intro moment is when that guy tries to catcall her and she like puts him in his place immediately. So to me, I was like, okay, so if anyone was to try to do anything with her, she would put him in his place.
Yeah.
But then I feel like if she does that to one guy and when, you know, other guy, later on, other guy will gang it up on her and then, you know, she will be more dangerous situation, put her in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
To me,
that makes
I was
sense
like,
too.
Yeah, I was just so scared for her. I was just, I know.
But then at the same time, you think if Peggy, you know, survived up to that point, she probably can kick some ass. Which
is what I wanted to see her do.
Me too. Yeah.
Right? Because if you go down this logic and she's that badass that she had to put up with so much sexism, then like, yeah, you are right. Like she is a badass, and I wanted to see her in action, like doing stuff.
More action.
Yeah, so she can protect herself, you know,
Well, you know, they actually did give her a whole series. It went for 2 seasons. So if you want to catch it, I believe it's on Disney Plus and maybe even Netflix still. But she does kick major ass in that series. You know, a couple other things I just want to quickly mention. Stan Lee's cameo.
It was so good. I was like, Stan,
he was
taking acting classes or something. That was really funny.
Did you notice that? Stan Lee, who one of the creators of Marvel, he does a cameo in every movie. So that scene where like Captain America is supposed to show up and like give the get that medal, and then then he doesn't show up. There's like the soldier in the crowd who's like, I thought he'd be taller, and he's like kind of an old guy. Did you notice that part?
Wait. Which guy is that?
The old dude who's like, he's like in the general uniform, and he's just like, I thought he'd be taller. You know, that short scene. It was a really short scene.
Oh yeah. Very short scene. Yeah, one line.
So that dude is Stan Lee, one of the creators of Marvel comic books.
Ooh, and let me tell her, Kate. So I knew this. I was aware of this, but since I'm learning, I'm going to pass on my knowledge. And so Stan Lee always has a cameo in a Marvel movie as like a co-star.
Yeah.
Nice.
Couple other things I would just wanted to quickly mention. Again, Stanley Tucci, great part. I personally thought it was really great that the fact that the same man who mentored Anne Hathaway in Devil Wears Prada also mentored Steve Rogers.
Oh yeah.
I was like, he's just like Anne Hathaway. And then they also intro Bucky Barnes, Steve's best friend in this movie. Do you guys
Could you
know
say that one more time, Kay? You blipped out.
Bucky Barnes, his friend,
like
his best friend. Oh, are we still paused?
Hello?
Can I hear? I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Okay, you just came back. You just came back to life. You said something about someone's best friend.
Steve's best friend, Bucky Barnes. He's also in this movie. I don't know if it's a sport. Do you guys know about him and his
No. Don't.
Okay.
Wait, is this another movie thing down the line?
It's okay. I'm just gonna stop there.
Yeah, don't tell me because I don't want to go into the next movie and be like, I know.
The best friend
who died.
Yes, who died? Their friend.
Time out. I'm gonna pull out my earpod. I'm gonna pull out these headphones, Kay. If you want to tell,
you wanted me to know a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna pull these out, and then wave at me when you're ready.
Okay.
Because I thought he was the cutest one in the movie.
He was pretty cute. Well, pretty much he comes back in the next movies, and he survived. So he. And then actually he's going to have his own Disney Plus show that's coming out after WandaVision ends. So he's still alive and he does a lot more stuff. So they created that relationship in this movie as well. So,
but I knew he survived. I thought he won't die. And then somehow the way he died, and I thought Captain America could save him.
Right.
And I thought,
well,
he was.
Well, if you end up wanting to watch the rest of the movies, they go into what happened to him. But yeah, so we'll bring. So just so you know, but we're gonna bring Quincy back. Quincy, you can come back. Can she see
come back, Quincy.
Come back, Quincy. Hey, we're done talking about it.
I just saw at one point. I go, oh.
And the one other thing that they also intro in this is his shield, and the fact that it's made out of vibranium, which is a very specific element in the Marvel universe as well. So just something to keep in mind, Quincy, as we're moving forward. Captain America's shield is made of vibranium.
Yes, you said keep in mind Quincy and then something and vibranium.
Is it an internet connection?
Is it a Black Panther thing?
It is. Yes. Okay. Yes, his shield is made of vibranium, which comes back in Black Panther. So that's
okay. Wait, time out really quick. In the terms of like historical context, since we were watching like a period Marvel movie, I was like, if this is vibranium and it's 1940s, this is like a whole bunch of like just issues. There's like a lot of like in the context of 2021 2020 you're like
and that's the thing, they plant the seeds here, but you don't really know what they're related to until later on. So
yes, you don't. Yes.
But they do harken back to the fact, and they kind of explain of like how it ended up there, and they do fill in the blanks as you move forward. So that's pretty much it for our review of Captain America. We're going to move on to our next section, the stretch and share.
Stretch and share.
Quincy, I believe you pick the stretch this week, which we're going to do while sitting down, and then we're going to share. Go ahead, Quincy.
Yes. So this stretch, let's just look to our right and gently apply some pressure on your chin or the side of your jaw, and you should feel a nice stretch along this side.
Cool. And while you guys do that, I'm going to share a highlight of my week. I watched the new Kristen Wiig movie, Barb and Star, Go to Vista Del Mar. It's super fun. Kristen Wiig, you guys probably know, is like kind of like, comedy icon.
Switch.
It's kind of like, I was kind of worried it was just going to be like an SNL character type sketch, spanned over a full movie, which it kind of is.
Okay, can you repeat that one more time? It went. Okay, repeat that whole section. You were really worried about something.
I was worried that it was just going to be like an SNL character sketch type movie where they're just putting that same character over like a whole hour and a half. But it was really good, and I really liked how it stayed like funny and upbeat, and didn't have kind of like a lot of like gross, kind of like crude humor that a lot of those movies can end up kind of like culminating in. So Barb and Star, Go to Vista Del Mar, highly recommend. So I'm gonna go ahead and stretch while Quincy and I do their share.
Cool. That bark was my dog Maple. Hello, Maple. And she can't hear you. She's saying hi. A stretch. What I would like to share today, guys, is I am a changed woman. Ooh. I have been eating my oranges peeled by myself, like when I'm at home, and now I'm having oranges sliced. Game changer.
Oh, and why is that? Why is that a game changer?
With slice instead of peel?
Peeled, yeah. Because so what I would do is I would peel them with my fingers, and I'd get orange skin all over my fingernails, which I really hated. Mm-hmm. All the juice would get like all over the place. And I feel like by the time I got done peeling my orange, I would hate the orange. But now when I cut and slice them, I'm like, wow, I can really enjoy the fruit of the orange without having to fight the skin of the orange. It just makes a much more fruit eating experience. And I feel like an adult now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Nice.
I hear that. Slices versus peeling. Cool.
Yeah.
Any highlight from your week you would like to share?
So I was sleeping a lot. So
I feel like you're always sleeping, Ai.
Yeah. And then so I was thinking, and I found my lifetime mission.
Which
Finally, I found it.
What is
because
it?
It's so my stand-up, I do stand-up, right? And then the message about my stand-up, I want to be a bridge between American people and immigrants. Because it feel like we are completely different world. I feel like a lot of immigrants are staying in their bubbles, and then they don't want to be part of American society. And American people also don't accept a lot of immigrants who don't speak good English. And then, like, I joked about like why American people complaining about immigrants who speak bad English taking their shitty jobs. You know what I mean? The jobs that they don't even want. And then, then they take out their anger towards us. But think about it, like immigrants who speak perfect English, like British or Australians, they treat it very differently. Even though they take all the good jobs, you know what I mean?
I mean, you make a good point.
Yeah, right. And then like I've never heard of like British or Australian people, immigrants complaining about, they are told to go back to your country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think last year there was an Australian or British guy during the pandemic who told an Asian family to go back home. And I think it was
British and Australian.
I think he was British. Yeah, he was Australian or British, and this was in the Bay Area. They were eating at a restaurant when like restaurants like first opened, and he was like, "Go back to where you came from."
He's not even American. I mean, he's not from here. And then that's the thing. And like American people admire British people. They used to be American bully. America stood up for the British.
Good point.
Right? And then the American people, white people, I don't know. A lot of racist white people look up to their bullies, And like...
Is America in a toxic relationship with Britain?
Yeah, looking up to bullies. And it makes me so mad. The American people always like, bow down to those British or Australian. Oh, I love your accent,
Oh, yeah. It sounds so classy.
And like, whoa, their accent automatically becomes admirable sound. And our people who speak, minorities who speak English as second language, our accent is ghetto. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, it's just there's a lot of stereotype is also being biased towards us, and then a lot of people don't know us because they never grew up or surrounded by foreigners, so they don't know anything but bad stereotypes. So I just want to break that ice between them. If they get to know us, hey, we're cool. We're not a threat to America. We were taking care of your shitty jobs.
Ai Yoshihara, everyone, going to change the world, just like Captain America. She is the most recent Avenger.
Yes, watch out.
I love that. I think that's great.
Thank you.
That's really great. Yeah, I think part of it is I was on a phone call and my dad needed to call this financial institute. And I feel like every time I call and ask for a Korean language interpreter, because it has to do with like numbers and stuff, they won't let me actually speak on his behalf. So they always have to call in a Korean language interpreter and speak through them only. And anytime I call and ask for a language interpreter, I can hear the person crumble internally. Like they're like, "Oh, how can I help you?" I'm like, I'm here to translate. I'm just doing a 3-way call for my dad. I need a language interpreter. And I can hear this like pause where they're like sighing and dying internally because they feel like it's extra work. And I realize, and it always cracks me up because I can hear them die a little on the inside. But as I'm listening to them, go back and forth, I'm realizing, oh, this person doesn't know, he can't follow along what's happening, right? So it's a game of telephone. And it must sound like all gibberish to him, right? And I was like, oh, they don't know what it's like to have to advocate or like translate for people. And so I'm someone who's sitting in the middle and understanding and following. And I have empathy for my dad, empathy for the translator. But if you've only grown up listening and knowing only one language, and that's been reinforced that that's the dominant, better language, you're sitting here being like, this is lame that I have to sit because you don't know how to, like, you don't have any empathy for the speaker who doesn't understand. Meanwhile, my dad can, knows his alphabet and so there's this disconnect.
I think it's also just having a capacity for like patience. If you're just like, this is going to take a while. This is going to take extra work. And that's part of what you have to do, And anything also, outside of like just the rote, they're just like, oh, this is
But extra. That's the problem because people who told me to speak English and while I was speaking English, I mean,
that's trash.
But people always tell me to speak English. Those people speak only one language,
right?
They speak only English.
Exactly.
So they don't. And that's why they don't see that. We were making extra effort to studying English or speaking English so we can communicate with the American people. We were doing the hard work, but American people don't see it as like, you better speak English fluently. It's
right. Cater to me.
Cater to me. Me,
my
me.
experience. Yeah.
So that's really make me, also push that issue. And also I heard people who like Quincy, like you grew up, between American culture and your parents' culture. People who grew up that environment, they're very empathetic towards others for any situation, because you, like you said, you are empathetic to your dad, empathetic to the guy who just sitting, has to sit through. So like also these people, and you guys are more empathetic to any, psychologically you guys developed empathy towards others.
Guys, Ai's going to be the empathy Avenger.
She's going to be an ambassador at Avenger
2024.
Yes. Watch out. Watch out, world.
Yeah.
Ai's coming for you.
Yes. Yep.
Well, I think that wraps it up for our stretch and share segment.
Yes, that brings us to the makeup portion, where today we are doing eyebrows.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, love eyebrows.
And as usual, well, go ahead, Quincy. I know we try to tie in a theme. I think I have a fun way of doing that.
Oh, no, okay, please give your theme.
Well, I was thinking, I've always had like really bushy eyebrows, and whenever I've gone in to like get them done, I always like expect them to be like, okay, let's go at them and just make them a thinner, more manageable type size. But they're always just like, you have a very natural brow line, so we're really not going to do that much. And I'm just like, I'm always kind of a little bit disappointed. But when I think of it in the context of like Captain America, like what we're doing, we're just bringing out like the inherent goodness of the brow. And we're not changing it. So we're staying the same brow. But we're just going to like put a little serum in it and like refine it a little bit.
Okay, I like that.
Throw some radiation at it and then come out, like a little more refined like Captain America. So
I like that.
That's my
Kay, that was great.
eyebrow theme.
Also, I just want to point out, Kay is wearing her foundation, her concealer, and you look great. I feel like did you end up getting the concealer you needed?
I did. I didn't use the concealer today. I just had the foundation and the primer. Still,
it looks great.
The primer. I have a bit of a red, like a thing here, but
but it looks very. It's very even.
Yeah, I'm filling out the evenness of it. I feel like every time I get a little bit better about the evenness, and also not using the brush so much that it just ends up wiping it off.
Yes. Good. It looks very even. Yes, we are doing eyebrows today. I love Kay's little thematic tie-in. This is what I came up with, Kay, because we always try to do a theme. We try to like connect the two. Mine was eyebrows frame your face, and they kind of give you a way to like, it like defines your face and frame. God, it was better in my head. I should have written this down. They frame your face. They frame, you know what? We're going to keep going. And when it comes back to me, I'm just going to say, okay, we're doing eyebrows today. You'll notice I have one done. My right eye is done.
Okay.
I filled it in. And my left eye isn't, so you can see. Kay, they are right. You actually have great eyebrows. Kay's face looks so funny. She looks like...
I'm trying to see the difference between the done and the not done.
Here, I'm going to scoot my face closer.
It's not... Okay.
Okay.
So if you'll notice here, on my right, it's filled in, so it's very full. And it looks very natural, right? I'm not trying to overdo them to be like, I have eyebrows. But if you look at my left side, the undone side, you'll see it's a little bit patchy. It's a little bit feathery.
I see.
It's a little uneven. And I don't really have like an eyebrow tail. It just kind of ends here. I also have very bushy eyebrows. And I get them done. I get them threaded. I've been seeing Aida, if you're listening to this, I love you. Guys, go to the shout out to Aida Thread Bar. Go to the Thread Bar in Westwood. She's amazing. She's an eyebrow wizardress. And she will shape your eyebrows like nothing. I mean, like like amazing. And so what you want to do before you do your eyebrows is to tweeze them. I'm not an eyebrow shaper threader just because my eyebrows personally are so crazy. But I are matching because we've pinned our bangs back. And so what you want to do is pull. So I'm just going to show like basic tweezing. I'm not going to go into like actually shaping your eyebrows. But Kate, yeah, the threaders were right. You have great eyebrows. I wish my eyebrows were as full as yours.
They used to call me Frida Kahlo in elementary school because they was like super bushy. Which I used to take as a compliment because Frida Kahlo was I was like, Frida Kahlo's an amazing artist.
She is an amazing artist.
And she's a genius. So I'll take it.
She's an artistic genius. So what you want to do is, I think you have your spoolie brush.
Okay.
What I always like to do is brush it through just to like.
So you're brushing.
Yeah. So just pull the spoolie through.
The spoolie pointing down? Is that a specific technique?
Or you can do it up.
Or you can do it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going with the growth of the eye.
Still trying to take off the cap.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
And then so you'll notice, so that just will like settle your hair. It's like brushing your hair. And then you can tweeze.
Tweeze.
So like, I don't have a lot of eyebrow growth right now. So I'm going to... So
you're going underneath the line of your eyebrow.
So under my brow, you're going to see like a few. So my eyebrow has been shaped, right? So if I look at myself in the mirror, there's going to be a few stragglers and I'm going to want to tweeze those to clean it up.
So, and so I've heard of this word. When you say stragglers, are they hairs that are part of the eyebrow, but just pointing down too long, or are they ones that are under, like they are growing underneath the line?
So stragglers are ones that are growing mostly like not part of your eye line. So I'll have like hair growing here on my like eyelid or here. And because my eyebrows have been shaped already, when the eyebrows grow back, you'll see them not along my eyebrow line. So I would tweeze those in between threading sessions to keep them clean.
Okay.
Is it easier to do that after you draw the eyebrows?
I think you should. I think you typically should get them tweezed so you can, or you should get them. For me, anyway, since my eyebrows are so crazy, getting them done by a professional who knows how to shape your eyebrows helps, and then you can fill it in because they will have shaped your natural eyebrows, and then you can go back and use the shape they created to fill your eyebrows in. Yeah.
So while I'm looking at my eyebrows, I see like a pretty natural shape, but like especially on the ends, there's ones that are kind of like lower. Are those the ones I should be tweezing?
You could tweeze those, yes.
So like these ones here?
Yes. So then, Kate, see how like you have a natural eye shape right here? Right? Let's say this is my eyebrows, your eyebrow. You have a natural shape, and then you have some fuzzies that don't. Yes.
Like down here.
Yeah. And you want to go, don't be too overzealous about tweezing. Be sure to, look at your reflection in the mirror so it's your eyebrows are even and you're not like over plucking your eyebrows.
Okay.
I definitely over plucked.
Yeah.
I did too. My back 10 years ago, if you see old pictures of me, my eyebrows are definitely much more skinnier. And so I've had to tell my threaders to not pluck them.
I see.
Yeah.
Now,
my eyebrows at the...
Go ahead.
No, nothing.
Well, that's interesting this week is like I kind of randomly caught an episode of Late Night with Lily Singh, and she had Bob the drag queen on as her guest, and they were doing their makeup, and they would like glue down their eyebrows and then drew all new ones.
Yes. That's typically done in drag. I just saw a YouTube video in preparing for this segment. This new technique where you soap your eyebrows, and I think they're borrowing, I don't know, I haven't looked too deep into it, but to me it seemed like they're borrowing a drag makeup technique to create full looking eyebrows. The reason you soap or glue them down for drag queens is you're creating an illusion. So you glue or soap your eyebrows down and then cover them up so that you can create a bigger eye. So you have to think with drag, you're creating a more dramatic look.
Oh, so you can like fill in more in between?
Yes, because they're creating a bigger eye with their makeup.
So I plucked this one. Does it
that looks
look
great, Kay.
cleaner?
Yeah.
The other thing is like the end, it kind of like, you said don't over pluck. But these like little lighter ones at the end. You can
pluck those, yeah.
I can pluck those.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing that as well.
This is the quietest we've ever been, guys. I just want to say.
We're still filling this out. I feel like when you're doing physical stuff, I'm trying to talk, and then while I'm doing physical stuff, you're trying to, banter. But yeah, I see. It's like the thing is, when I feel like my eye is so kind of like naked in the sense of like I'm not used to seeing the subtle differences. So it takes me a while to be like, does that look different? You know, it kind of like the learning how to what we call smooth out the face and make it kind of even. It's taken me, this whole time
practice.
To kind of like okay, I think this is about right.
Yeah, it takes practice. You're not going to get it right on the first try. It's going to take practice. How are you doing, Ai?
I think I'm stuck in the old style. First of all, I didn't. Yeah,
Go ahead.
I didn't born with my eyebrow. From here, I have so much hair, but from here to down, I don't have much hair. So
I don't think so. What I did was she pointed from her eyebrows up that she had so much hair. So she has so much hair on her head, and then below her eyebrows, she has no hair. And I'm not even that hairy of a person, but I don't think that's a problem. I really don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, but I don't have much eyebrows.
It's okay. So, you can fill them in.
Yeah, but that's mine is like wide, but so little hair.
Yeah, so you can fill them in. Like mine are very fair. I don't have a lot. I wish I had thicker eyebrows.
Yeah, but also I plugged all the mountain. You have like a nice pointy mountain,
like an arch. Yeah. You can get that shaped. You can train your eyebrows. You can also use castor oil on your eyebrows. You can apply it with like a Q-tip. It helps grow hair.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So you can do that. And I'd suggest go see someone. Go see Ida. But she's great. Like she's really great. I literally had like skinny little arches before I saw her. She helped shape my eyebrows.
Oh, I see.
How's this look? I've done a little bit on
and also guys, the reason I'm so like reluctant to be like go for it is because I've had my own personal like eyebrow journey where I'm like, oh my god, like they got over plucked. That's why I'm like
whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, be conservative. And
yeah, I don't know. For me, almost, I'm like, sometimes I wish, like I do for haircuts too. Like I kind of wish like sometimes someone went too crazy, so I know like, okay, that's the line, Just true. So I'm just like, okay, we did do something drastically different. Now we know that is not one of the options
that does not work. The future. Yeah, that's what happened with my hair. Like I don't know if you guys remember when I chopped it off.
I remember you had like a shaved part.
Yes, but it first was chopped, and I learned. I think that chop, it was a lob, and I realized that I can't do a lob. I have to like either get older or it has to be like a bob. I did like an in between, and it didn't work for me. I was like, oh, this does not work for me.
So I cut my hair by myself because like,
your hair looks so cute.
It looks good.
Thank you. It's just I have to cut it again, but I have to trim it. But
it's like so cute.
I just because my hair, I can't do like cool hair because I have such a thick, my hair is so, what you call it, like strong, the thick hair. It's thick, super thick. And so I can't do cute short haircut because my hair is like sticks out.
Oh, spiky.
Yeah. And when I do too short, and I love short hair, but I just can't, my hair is just, it doesn't.
I think you have to shave it a lot because I think that's also Asian hair. When I was growing out my undercut, my hair stuck straight out like duck feathers while it was growing out, and then it finally settled.
Yeah. So and also like bob is the easiest.
By the way, so for those of you guys who don't know, Ai has like this cute page boy cut right now.
Yeah, like
adorable,
shoulder, chin length.
It's really cute. Are you guys ready to just try eyebrows?
Yeah,
doing your eyebrows. Okay,
yes,
let's draw.
Let's do it.
So I realized, this is where I'm not a teacher of this. Okay. Sorry, I just muted myself by accident. Okay, so I'm going to use the viewfinder. So this is going to be a little tricky. What you're going to do is with your whatever, what are you using? I'm using a powder and an angled brush.
I'm using a pencil.
Okay, great. So you don't have to skip. You can skip this part. So I'm going to dab my angled brush into the powder. And you're going to first lightly trace the shape of your eye from the middle out. And then you're going to then do the inner corner of your eye and meet that first line in the middle.
Okay.
So to show you.
So she's putting the brush near the middle, kind of like where the darkness
kind of almost,
gets lighter,
yes, it's almost like where your iris would be, right? It's like right here.
Okay, right above the iris. And then she's pushing outward. Looks like you're kind of doing a pretty heavy push, like a strong across, because you're okay. So does it looks kind of like you're just painting the hairs, or are you painting the skin?
No, so it's on the skin, and I'm just creating an outline.
Okay.
To create the shape.
Okay, so you're outlining on the skin, not just painting the hairs.
Yes, so see how I've extended this line out? I don't have this line, but I'm creating that line.
Okay.
So by doing this outline, I'm defining my brows.
Okay, so you're actually going past where the brow line
Yes, because Kay, you have a really nice, your right eye has a really nice tail. Right? I don't have that. So I have to draw that for myself. Yeah. See how yours pulls out all the way to the end of your eye? I don't have that. So I'm drawing that for myself.
Oh, okay. See, I always thought that it was just like, that was too long, you know?
No. And then, so then you'll see me do the top. You don't want to go too crazy because you don't want to look like you have outlined eyebrows. You're creating this outline, so to speak, to know where to fill your eyebrows.
So are you almost doing like a lip liner type thing?
Yeah, you could look at it that way. Yeah.
Okay. So you're creating the kind of the box, the shape first, and then you're gonna color inside of the shape. Yes. Color inside the lines. Is this how you usually do it? Do you create a shape first?
No, I just draw it like.
But
my makeup is like,
to be honest, I just fill my eyebrows in. But when I looked at some eyebrow tutorials, they did it, and then when I did it for this eyebrow, it actually helped a lot. It made it a lot easier.
Okay. And when you say fill your eyebrows in, that's when you're actually drawing on the hairs.
Yes. So I'm creating this. Right. So now can you see how I've now shaped the eyebrow?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It looks, I can tell the difference because I saw what it looked like before.
Exactly. Right. And then so now I'm going to fill in. And if you'll notice, actual eyebrows tend to be lighter in the center and then they thicken out. Right. So you don't want to come in the inner eyebrow and like create more darkness. Unless that's like a look you're going for. So I'm going to use my angle brush and just gently pull up.
And does that have product on it?
Yes. So I've been dipping my brush into the shadow and tapping it.
And then you're not putting as much on the parts that are already dark, right?
Yes. I'm just using it to fill. And then so see how there's that, I have to fill that. But because I've created that outline and that shape, I know where to fill.
Okay.
It in.
Is that it? Are you gonna fill it? Are you gonna fill more toward the end?
Here, I'm using the viewfinder so I can't see. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. And then see, normally this would be a lot easier to do, but because my eyebrows haven't been threaded, the cowlick is right in the middle. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging.
I feel like this is like, it's almost like, man, I wish we only had like one side of our face. Because you do it on one side and then you're just like, cool, that looks good. Now let me do the same exact thing on the other side and make it look the same, but mirrored and different.
How does that look? Good?
Good.
Yeah.
And mine's never look the same.
So
Always
then
look different.
so then looking at the mirror to make sure the shape is the same. Mine don't always look the same too. And I don't really care because I'm like, my face doesn't have to be symmetrical. Like our faces aren't symmetrical. I don't know that it's that bad. And then sometimes with this growth, I can pull it down. And do you see how like there's like long eyebrow hair that's growing? So I would go in. I'm not going to do it because I'm using a viewfinder, and I would just trim that.
Okay.
That's too long.
So it lines, everything lines up.
Everything lines up
along that long thing.
Yes.
Okay. See, that's interesting because I probably would have plucked those.
Oh, yes. You don't want to do that because the hair is in the right place. But if it's just too bushy, like if you look at my
just trimming it is the way to go.
Yeah. Do you see how these cowlicks? I would just snip that.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to go for it, Kay?
Yeah. So I'm gonna do the outline first. I'm gonna just do it. I'm just gonna do one eye.
Yeah. Just try the one.
So yeah. So if you want to narrate what you think you can see, I have a mirror here, so that's why I'm also
no worries.
From it.
Okay.
Quick question: tension in the face? Am I just relaxed or?
Yeah, I'm relaxed when I'm doing it. Yeah.
Relaxing the face. Okay.
And then you want to get right under your eyebrow. Yeah, there you go. It looks good from what I'm doing. Did you do your eyebrow?
Kinda.
It looks good. Your left. Did you do your left eye?
Left. I did both.
Your left eye looks good. You know how? So you see how on your right eye above your eye your line.
I think I went too low.
Yes. Give me 1 second, Kay. Okay. So let's look at Ai's eyebrow. See how on her right eye, eye has a really dark line. Right. Eye speaks so that your face comes up.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the spool brush and just lightly drag it across to soften it.
Oh, okay.
Like and then so you know how the line is at the top? You run it through to soften it. There you go. Up top. See how you drew that top line really thick? You can use this brush, the spool brush, to soften that line.
Oh, okay.
And use like the brush, yeah.
Okay, on the top.
Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't look like
because right now your right eyebrow has like a line, and you can soften that. Yeah, so you can use that brush. Okay, Kay, back to you.
Should I do that with mine? Because I feel like I went too low.
Yes. So I think you did go a little bit low. You can use a Q-tip. So for you, I would say you can so this is I'll do it on myself so you can see. This is what you did. Yeah. Do that. Let's see if it works.
Spooling up. Spooling. I
think you may have to redraw it because the arch was drawn too low.
It looks already good.
I might have just wiped it off.
Yeah.
I didn't get to the top line though, so maybe if I did the top line, it would show the full shape.
I think you can pull that spoolie through your eyebrows even more.
Oh, through the whole thing. So pulling it.
It's very interesting to try to do this, to try to teach each other in person on Zoom.
Yeah. it's a special little challenge. Oh,
our 3 listeners hate this portion of the podcast because it's such a visual thing, and they're just sitting there listening to us try to make it interesting auditorily.
It's a little ASMR-y in the second portion.
ASMR.
I feel like I either put the line back up or I just wiped it off with the spoolie. Something.
It looks like a little bit of both.
So if I were to go back to the pencil side and draw the top, would I? Let me try that.
How's the color? It looks good.
Yeah, it's a deep brown.
Okay.
Total Temptation Maybelline.
Oh yeah, color too. Like, it should be, because we have dark black hair. Should we do black?
No, because if you look at it, eyebrows are always a little lighter than your actual head color, your head hair color. So you always go, I use dark brown.
Oh, I think I did this one better. I did the top.
Yeah. And then, yes, Kay. And then see how you kind of naturally did it. See how there's some hair fuzz on top?
Yep.
It looks like that would be something. Yeah.
Cool. Ooh,
but make sure you're doing it with both eyebrows. Like, don't then tweeze your right eyebrow, and then, because you want to do them at the same time.
Okay.
Because your left eyebrow
until the end.
No. I'm going to send you a tutorial that talks about how to make even eyebrows. This lady uses a thread to draw the line so that one arch, because your left eyebrow might not have hair up there. Yeah. So then if you tweeze your eyebrow to your arch and then you go to your left side and you realize, oh, my left eyebrow doesn't have hair there, then you have uneven eyebrows.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now I'm going to try to fill it in.
You know what? Why don't you? You might not have to. Why don't you use your spool brush and use it to soften?
And just soften down?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Gonna do that. Softening down.
Yeah. I think you could go your line. Your line looks great, but I think when you do it again in the future, you could go a little lighter.
A little lighter on the line?
Yeah. Because it's like really dark.
I mean, again, I feel like I have to push the boundaries of things so I know exactly where the line is. And
you have to see the YouTube video for when Kate learns how to put concealer on.
Yeah, I want a little...
She looks like a little kid because she has... That looks pretty good, Kay.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it defines your eye.
Yeah.
I think on the inner eye with your first line, you went a little heavy-handed and it's a little low.
Okay.
Just bring that up a little bit for the next time you do it. How are you doing?
From the bottom or the top?
Good.
From the bottom.
I feel like I'm learning.
Yeah. Your eyebrows look great.
Yeah? But
Yeah,
I feel
they look really
I
natural.
feel like more, it's a little darker.
You can go a little darker if you wanted.
Would that be a color thing or just a...
When I see color thing, yeah.
I think it's a color thing.
When your eyebrows like more emphasize your eyes with the darker eyebrows, I feel like.
Yeah.
And when I look at the difference between the two, I it's so funny that when you first were just like, this is the one I did and this is the one I didn't do, and I'm just like, oh, I do see the difference now because my eye is kind of like trained to the subtlety of it. So I feel like I think this is a success.
It was a success.
Yes, and I learned a lot. I'm so glad you told me to brush the top.
Yeah.
Brushing. Brushing the top
Just
is
to clean the wild, loose hairs. Yeah.
And I feel like the other times we've done stuff, like I'm always just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to work on this more later. But I feel like this time I've completed a whole task. And I'm just like, and if I have anywhere place to go, I would be able to go out with just this eyebrow done. I would know that I wouldn't have to do anything else with it. So it looks like.
Wait, hold on. I think I got the theme.
Hold on, your theme, your eyebrow theme. Ooh, it's gonna be so good. how are eyebrows thematically related to Captain America First Avenger? It's
Okay, I don't know if this is going to make sense, but just like your eyebrows frame your face, Captain America gives context to where the first Avengers and the Avengers come from. And so it kind of gives you a framework of how far the Avengers have come.
You did it!
Did it work?
That's great. Yeah, I think that's better than mine. Because mine's
really?
like, yeah, because that's like a legit like mirror of it. Mine's like, my eyebrows, they're the opposite of Captain America because he was skinny and then he got big. And my eyebrows are big and I'm trying to get them to look skinnier.
We're going to go deep with these thematic polls.
We're going so deep. We're going so
deep.
But that brings us to the end. That's all the time we do have for today. Thanks so much for listening and or watching. Quincy
and where can people find you?
Yes, please follow me on TikTok. It's my name, Ai Yoshihara, AIYOSHIHARA, and on TikTok, and also Instagram. My name, Ai Yoshihara 3. Those two places.
Great. And if you'd like to reach out to us or find out more about Marvel and Makeup, you can follow us on all social media at Marvel and Makeup.
Yes, or you can email us at marvelmakeuppod@gmail.com. Please rate and review and subscribe wherever you find our podcasts, whether it's on YouTube, Apple, and all the different platforms. That would be wonderful.
And please give us 5 stars so our Asian moms will quit. We didn't come up with one. Let's make up one right now.
I'll say one. Please give us some 5 stars so that way our Asian moms will stop comparing us to Constance Wu.
Oh my goodness.
Let's make Asian mom proud.
Yeah.
Proud.
Because she set the high bar. She had the series, she had the movies, and so now we're like, we must all live up to her. So thank you so much. Thank you so much to Ai again for joining us. Next time we will be covering Avengers, the culmination of Phase 1. But until then, thank you everyone. Catch you next time on Marvel and Makeup.
Bye. Bye.
Marvel and Makeup is hosted and produced by Quincy Cho and Kei Kaonapu. Quincy is an actor-writer based in Los Angeles, California. Kei is a writer-performer for Filipino AF and an alum of the CBS Diversity Sketch Showcase. You can follow them on Twitter and Instagram at Quincy Dinosaur and at Kei Kaonapu.
The music for Marvel and Makeup was composed by Clarence Yap and our artwork was designed by Patty Lynn. You can find them on Instagram at Clarence_Yap and at pattylyn.jpg. See our show notes for even more info.
And now we're going to do a little post thing. We say something or like...
Wow, I was holding my breath through that whole outro. I do not know why. I just let out a belly full of air out. I was like, Jesus, I was stressed through that.
Why?
I don't know.
You just nailed the theme thing. I think maybe it was a theme thing. You're just like...
maybe it was a theme thing, man. Oh, God. That was fun.